Okay, what just happened is I was sleeping down there by the library, by that bush down there, and I was trying to rest. You know, I was still kind of wide awake. But what really happened is that when I looked off the corner of my eye, I seen that white flash. There was a soul there. And that's familiar, you know what I mean? Because all the times that I seen the white orb, it was only a flash, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. Because I just glanced at it and it disappeared. So I was just thinking that's cool. But, you know, that there's some around or whatever. But the thing is that these water spirits, a long time ago I've been talking about that, and I've been down by that trail like years ago, and I've had experiences with droop and really weird things, and a branch fell out of a tree too, and there was nothing up in that tree, and it was just like, it was really freaking weird. But guess what? It happened again. But this time, something supernatural, or a humanoid type being, at least that big, because that's what it sounded like. I can't even remember the guttural tones because I was so alarmed and shocked, but it was like, it was kind of really weird. But I was like, hey, 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 like that. I was going like that because I was kind of getting a little fearful. So I have this, like, you know what I mean, instinct to me that I just said that automatically. And then I didn't leave because I left my other crystal charging that I wasn't wearing. So I had to, and for some reason I couldn't find out where it was because I was half distracted about trying to pay attention to that, and I finally grabbed it and then walked over to the side. And then after that I started videotaping on my phone, and you can hear, I have proof, you can hear the water churning. You'll hear the frogs and everything, but you'll hear the churning differently. And as it moves and as it gets up on land and as it dissipates, and then I go around to the other side, and then there's something crawling up a tree. But, you know, I tried to like charge it or go like this and try to scare it or whatever. And usually a squirrel will go like that, you know, if I did something like that. And, you know, when it knows I'm paying attention to it, it's dead silent, it won't move, or it will. It's been, and it's similar to how it acted last time. But that's water spirits. I just researched another video, and that one was even more informational than the last ones that I ever researched. And I made a documentary on YouTube about this and other things, and now that that's all covered, and you'll see that on Instagram, I got to show you this. That I'm going to go over that UFO experience that I had. That was by that tree, that white pine tree, and it came out from the white pine tree, you know, UFO. But this was a different time, right? So, it was like a light ship. It was like this, like, you know what I mean, going like that slowly, and then I grabbed my camera and even unplugged the headphones with my foot as I was running, and before I could get it, you know what I mean, it disappeared, and then it reappeared in the sky, and like did like a little blink, and then it disappeared. But even then, that was like, say, 15 minutes after I saw it. I was constantly looking up, back up in the sky, and then when I constantly took that one more glance up in the sky, and then there I saw it, because the only way I did notice it, but I looked up at it because it was a big ball that wasn't there before, because it kind of caught my eye. So I was staring at that, and then it blinked away. So same thing with the UFO that I actually captured, or because guess what? It actually dissipated. I don't know if there was a cloud behind it, but the sky and all the stars were out. So, you know, based off of that, I don't know. But all I'm saying is that basic terms are what I know. And, okay, a long time ago, when I was younger, I was in Mikey's old room. It's between the back, or, I don't even know what to call it. It's the room by the living room, you know what I mean? And anyway, that room, I was laying down watching Twilight, and I was looking up at everything. Wait, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Hold on. I was watching the movie, and I watched it about 2-3 times, right? And then all of a sudden, I'm just watching the movie, nothing going on, just trying to pay attention to it. All of a sudden, something distracts me, and all that's popping, electricity goes through my head, like this weird thing. I'm like, what the hell is that? I look up, it's this orange orb, and the way it looked, it was a ring, and a ring inside of it like this, You know how orbs look like that. But then it was manifest, physical, pretty big in light. And what it did is it slowly went across, and then it disappeared. And I've seen that, and ever since that night I never really slept in there, and that was before all this other stuff happened, right? And the next time I seen that was over the library. I was waiting for a post, and that same girl that I talked to with that red buggy was out using Wi-Fi, and I was waiting on the bench, and I was pretty sure that at the time. No, I was right about here, or I don't know. Yeah, I was right about freaking here. That's why I want to talk about it. It was right above this part of it, library, in thick light this time. You couldn't see through it, and it leaves even a streak of light behind it as it's going. And you can see that move. And then when I try to get my camera out and do all that, it freaking disappeared, because the beings obviously know shit. And I know they do. So don't think it's just a quinky dink every time that you pull out your camera and try to capture it and it disappears, because it knows that. But I'm just saying, so them are the big experiences like that. It's an orange ball of light, and it's very big and powerful. So, yeah. There's many other supernatural experiences like the Wendigo. And I was 17 in the fall, leaning back on one arm, thinking about this one chick, just like, you know, honestly, I probably was attacked a lot of the times, because some of my thoughts, and, you know, I know that it just doesn't get anywhere anyway. But I have that sort of, you know, sometimes you get that tense feeling, when you get that uneasy feeling, you have like almost pressure in your head and stuff, and I can find ways now to just release that, like quite literally, and just be in the octave of something different. And then them thoughts just don't happen that way. And that is the main degree, is the brain, and it's the tension, it's that irritation that it builds up inside your brain too, that you gotta pay attention to. Is if it's doing that too much, that's when you get irritated and do all that. And the one time that I slept there the other night and stuff, and every time that I go there, remember, I was getting triggered around them areas. And obviously they say that they're evil spirits, because that dude was on YouTube was just referring to the Bible about how the heaven, the earth, and the ocean. But the ocean is a separate entity in itself that has a realm of a spirit, you know, manifestation plane just like this. But the thing is what I heard, you know what I mean, that can manifest that sound. They say that water spirits can take up, you know, other animals and stuff like this too. So when it seems like another animal's walking around or whatever, when I was over by the other side, after I walked away from that, right, and I wanted to get close to it, I wanted to, here buddy, and it was actually getting closer, and then at a period of time, I don't know, and then it just waits, it just sits there. And it never gives me what I want, because obviously then that'd be the full proof. And they don't want to do that, but they still want to antagonize you at the same time. But I'm not totally sure if water spirits are totally evil. All I'm saying is that I got to tell you my experiences, and I wanted to recap it a lot, because I'm not sure if I even posted that one that I explained most of that. They were just, now I can explain more, because all these experiences already happened. All them fragmented experience through 2018, them were in different documentations. Now this all can be one documentation. So then this could be like the thing that I could basically, I'm going to name it, you know, a certain thing that's particular. So every time that I'm at the end of the video, I'll say, go look at that for prior reference to certain things too, because quite honestly, these are all my real experiences, and you know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there that have these experiences, and they cry, they go through emotional things, and just because of how, you know, real it is. But I can totally accept that. I'm totally 100% good with that. So now if I'm the person who basically can help people too, because that's who I am, now me knowing all of what I know now can help everybody else out, because without that, in the collective consciousness wise, things weren't even shifting that vigorously until now. But because of that the supernatural's coming to me, that I'm doing the work, and then, I mean, good supernatural forces, but there could be, some, there acts, I know there is other souls and spirits trying to stop my progression, and I can see it in different phases, in different things that happen. And it seems like the phone would be glitching out in many different ways just to irritate the fucking piss out of me until I would scream. You know what I mean? Normally, it would never get to that stage because I know the normal process of what would happen. But that day, and only that day, it would fuck up like a million bazillion times. But why? You know what I mean? Oh, I know why. There is so much more that goes beyond it, but you got to start looking into it. And a long time ago, they said, I heard a voice in my head that says, stay away from the river. And I've been getting like signs in that the consciousness booted again and again when that was then that I had that experience of, the signs and to stay away from, the river and all that. But that night, before I even did the research, I was so curious about that. And on the edge of the forest line and everything too. And that was the other time, not today. And this is exactly like a couple hours ago this happened. And that woke, I was still awake, but I was, kind of resting. But when that woke me up, it like shocked the fuck out of me. Like, and I was laying on the other side, so I had to get up and go like that. I didn't see anything there, but it sounded like, that Wendigo. It didn't sound like the Wendigo, like, per se. But all I'm saying is that Wendigo sound, the sound projection was that loud. And it's no, if anything, it's a predatorial animal that would make that sound. There is no little animal or a big thing that would even be around that water line. And I would have heard it come up, and even if I didn't, if it did come up through that, you know what I mean? So that's why it is a spirit, because the water churns weird. It bloops in and out, like bloop, bloop. Like, and there's nothing. I was just referring to the later time that happened to, not tonight, but that one experience, the first time that I had water spirits, because of the fact that it's real. It's at first I thought it was just the water and something dropping in it and all this other shit, but that night I really got like on that supernatural awareness. That awareness will be triggered in you when something supernatural happens, and you will know it and you will feel it. But sometimes your mind can play tricks, say if you get shocked or scared. But I mean, after the acknowledgement of something that is taking place that supernaturally, and then there's no doubt there, then that's when that sinks in to be that awareness of. So remember, I just covered about 3 supernatural experiences. I mentioned the Wendigo a little bit. But that could just be an alien type thing. But, yeah, it's like, all we need to do is not like focus on, say, the supernatural per se. All I'm saying is this what, the real thing that could be manifested for the whole world to wake up to, then that would really trigger the real game. Because right now we're playing that little game, because not all people wake up for it. And then the ones that are doing this, but it's not to the stage of it is at, because if this was a lot more entangled, then all this would be entangled with it more. Can't you see? When supernatural came into my life, it stayed in my life, and it continued to be in my life. Now, if everybody else was aware of it, it's almost like that given right of universal law, which that one friend of mine, he's in town or whatever, but he said that I was going against universal law that one time he talked to me, and he talked to me a whole bunch of things about what happened, but he told me not to tell anybody about who he is or whatever, because he's been through like so many different things, and he said if he finds out that the information gets out that he'd go to jail again, like quite literally. So but he experienced a lot of supernatural things. He told me some things that I literally can't deny, but they're so out there. In a way, I'm like, whoa, you know what I mean? But even for the things that I experienced, okay, they're out there, but the things that he was explaining, it's like, you know what I mean? So all I'm trying to say now is that hopefully that we start taking this more seriously about, you know, the real mission at hand. How would you play that video game? In that video game, would you play it real? Would you go right up and do the right things? Or would you just sit back and kind of like let that that mundaneness of this place that doesn't really put that supernatural in your soul? Because the supernatural is within us, but it was basically taken away from us. Because we're not in our divine nature. We, you know, people don't know how to raise, you know, the Kundalini. Not saying, I'm just talking about the general public, right? And only a certain amount of people in the world know that. And then that is the truth of what really happens, especially if they do the work and see certain things happening. And before, you know, it's a long process to get calibrated to, right? But you can have experiences like that. And actually, when I was going to bed, I was having images, and it was like the Aurora Borealis, and it was like this perfect crystal clear, like, little picture frame I got before I went to bed. And that was pretty cool. I meant before I tried to anyway, because I never really went to sleep. And it's about like 3 o'clock, almost 4, but I got a little bit of rest. I'm just still wired, like something, oh my gosh. The energy of meat, you know what I mean? And to be totally honest, you know, I stopped jacking off for, you know what I mean? And I try to do it once in a while, and whenever time I wait 3 days, I get like this super, that's when I can manifest the bigger, most really good songs and powerful songs and have way more energy. But the thing is that I realize it does release energy. But if I say held it, that's what I'm going to have to do. I am going to. Because I got to do this for the world. I got to really realize that, hey, this is a serious matter, and I better be doing the best I can. You know, because everybody else is relying on me. You know, and that's why it feels like this existence feels like you lived it more than once. And that's where the deja vu and all that stuff comes in. So, hope you're aware.